Today is October 11th, and this is part 49 of our study of the ministry of Jesus, tracing Jesus' steps in his ministry. Well, we've been to the Mount of Transfiguration, and some things happen in between, but we come back into Capernaum. Jesus and his disciples come back into Capernaum. And when you get there, a collector of tribute comes to Peter and wants to know if Jesus pays tribute. Now then, this is not a Roman tax. This is called the temple tax. The man that collects this is not a publican. This temple tax was instituted back over in Exodus chapter 30 and was half shekel, and it was used for the day-to-day operations of the temple. For instance, every day they had to sacrifice 2 sheep, and so someone had to buy them. So this money was used to buy sheep, to buy wood for the altar, and so forth and so forth. So this money was used to run the tabernacle. Now this was different than a tithe. Now remember that a tithe is 10% of their income. And that tithe was used to support the Levites and the priest. So this temple tax, every man over 20 years old was required to give this half shekel every year. So this man comes to Peter and says, does your master pay this tax, this temple tax? Now the word tribute there is actually the word for a piece of money. And not to go into detail on exactly what it was called and all, but it was equal to a half shekel. So that was a half shekel temple tax. So Peter answered him, yes, he does. And then Peter goes in the house. And it says Jesus prevents him. Now, the word prevent back in 1611 when this was translated meant something different than today. It meant then to go before. So what Jesus spoke to him before he was able to speak. That's what it means. Peter didn't get to say anything. Jesus knew what was going on. And he said to Peter, Peter, who does a king collect taxes from? From his children or from those outside the family? And he said, well, those outside the family didn't collect taxes from his children. And Jesus then said, well, then the children are free, that is, free from paying the taxes. The point Jesus is making is this. God, his Father, owns the temple and everything in it and everything else. And Jesus himself created everything. So why should Jesus pay tax to his Father? So Jesus was exempt from paying this temple tax. He wasn't required to pay it because he owned it. So why should he be taxed? And that's what he says. So the children are free. So Jesus was free. He was not required to pay this tax. But he said to Peter, so that we don't offend them, then I want you to go down to the Sea of Galilee. I want you to take a hook. Now, Peter was not accustomed to fishing with a hook. He was a fisherman in business, and catching fish one at a time on a hook would have taken much too long to make a living. He fished with a net. But this time Jesus said, go with a hook, and the first fish that you catch, look in his mouth. And of course, that's what Peter did, and he looked in his mouth, and there was a silver coin. A little different coin than the one described before, because this silver coin was worth 1 shekel. The other was worth half a shekel. This is worth 1 shekel. And Jesus said, take that one and go pay the temple tax for you and me. So each paid half a shekel, and it would be 1 whole shekel. He said, go pay our temple tax. And that's what he did. But now here's the point of the whole thing. Jesus said, so that we don't offend. I'm free from paying this tax. I don't have to pay it. But to keep from offending them, you go and you take the coin that you're going to find in a fish's mouth and you go pay this tax for us. Paul expressed this same thing, and when he said that he became all things to all men, he said, I have the freedom to do a lot of things I don't do because it would injure my testimony. It would cause someone to stumble. And he said, we don't do that. So the point of this whole thing is, you have the freedom to do a lot of things. But if your freedom causes someone else to stumble or to keep them from coming to Christ, then you shouldn't do it, even though you have the right to do it. And that was the whole point that he was trying to make with this temple tax that he paid. All right, so that's it for today. I hope you have a fantastic day today. I will see you in the morning. Have a great day.